What is going on, everybody, and welcome back to Dear Ashley Grace. If you have not already, please go ahead and like this video. Also, make sure that you're subscribed to the channel and make sure you press that post notification bell so you know when I post videos next. Okay, so can we please talk about Love is Blind? All right, I know if you click on this video, then you should know what I'm talking about the title. But because Love is Blind has been on for a while, I'm not even going to do like a review of sorts. I'm definitely, this is more so going to be a conversation about Love is Blind and the chaotic season that it was. In comparison to season 1, I feel like this season, it was just a whole cluster, you know what. It was all over the place. I'm more specifically going to speak on after they came back from Cabo. Everyone has already found their match or match. And I want to speak on the days leading up to everyone's wedding. Okay, so the couples that are on Love is Blind are Natalie and Shane, Jared and Ayana, Mallory and Saul, Nick and Danielle, and Shane and Kyle. And I put them in quotations because they got engaged in the pause, but they didn't end up staying together. They actually broke up before the wedding. So that's why they're in quotations there. But first, I'm going to start off with Shayna and Kyle. If you didn't watch the show, spoiler, and if you did, you should be able to keep up with it. So, Shayna, honey, God is not in you. For you to sit here and claim on this show that, oh my gosh, I can't be with Kyle because he's an atheist and he doesn't believe in God, and that is the foundation of who I am, and the way that you portrayed yourself on this show, God is not in you, baby. I don't know what God you serve, but it's not a God that's full of kindness and joy and forgiveness and respect, because you are none of those things, okay? I really would have respected if you would have kept it a buck and just said that you did not want to be with Kyle. And you didn't want to be with Kyle, and you just wanted to say yes because you wanted to have a match. And just say that, not because of the guise of, I believe in God and God is the faith of my life. First of all, the hate that you spewed on this show, man, oh my gosh. Like, seriously, girl, I cannot. Miss Shayna, okay, so you say the reason why you are not with, the reason why you didn't want to marry Kyle is because he doesn't believe in God. But in your interview, all you talk about is Shane and how you wish you could have made it with Shane and how you're still thinking about Shane. Nowhere in your conversation, in your interviews, do you ever mention God, okay? Like, I would have respected you more if you would have just said, you know what, Kyle? I don't feel how I thought I was going to feel about you. Yes, we made a connection, but I have a connection with someone else more. I would have respected that than you just saying that it's because he's an atheist. Because he was willing to work with you on that. He was willing to be like, you know what, when we get married, or if we get married, we have children, raise the children Christian. And, you know, maybe I'll, you know, one day I'll work my way up to being where you are. And he was willing to do that for a woman that he just met. But you are hiding behind God because you just didn't want to be with this guy. That's really what the truth is. And he's going to see the show. So how smart are we, okay? All right. And the reason that I say that God is not in you, or you don't display a person who believes in God, is because as soon as you got the chance to throw dust and crap all over Shane and Natalie's relationship, you did. You did just that. You come to the beach party. Well, first of all, it starts like this. You call Natalie asking how she and Shane are doing. Then you go on to say, well, if y'all don't work out, I know a guy for you. Who says that to somebody who's about to get married? And then you take Shane over in the corner and you just throw crap all over his relationship, saying that it's fake, it's a facade, it's not real. All of these things, like basically coming for Natalie. I'm just like, girl, there is no good in you. You are spiteful, you are manipulative, you are a narcissist. Like, girl, you're not gonna get him that way. This man is already wanting to marry this other lady. And Natalie better than me, because you pulled my man to the side like that, having a conversation, there wouldn't have been a conversation. Period. No conversation would be had. I'm sorry. I'm his soon-to-be wife. What y'all talking about? What's going on over here? Cause ma'am, you not it. You not it at all, boo. You not it at all. Moving on, let's go on into Nick and Danielle. So Nick and Danielle were the first to get engaged in the pods. And from first glance, it looked like out of everybody, like they were the most compatible until Danielle's insecurity starts rearing its ugly head. Like, I feel like in every scene after that, after they had gotten engaged and they were in Cabo, every scene after that was an argument with them. And it was mostly started by Danielle with some type of feeling or insecurity that she was feeling about something. In Cabo, she was jealous that he went off to the Love is Blind little get together. And of course, he probably had to do that because the producer told him he had to. She was sick, so she had to stay behind. But she was mad that he stayed long and was worried about this and that. And I just feel like she wasn't ready to be on this show. She was not ready to be on this show. Danielle should have been going, I don't know if she was in therapy or has ever been in therapy. But before being on the show, she definitely should have been getting some counseling or some therapy before trying to be in a relationship with somebody. Because there's so many demons that she's still battling within herself. And to bring that into a relationship and on to someone else that you just met, it's just not fair. It's not fair. They never seemed like they could just be happy like for 5 seconds. And like I said, every scene that they were in, there was some sort of argument. Cake testing, an argument. Date night, an argument. Speaking on living situations and who apartment or whose home we're going to live in, an argument. Everything was an argument. So the fact that when they got to the wedding and they both actually said yes was so shocking to me. First of all, I'm not surprised that Danielle said yes. I am surprised that Nick said yes, because Nick looked like a deer in headlights. He just looked like he said yes to appease her. It didn't seem as if he was just genuinely like head over heels. Yes, I want to marry you, like in this moment right now. I feel like he did when he first proposed, but like at that, what you call it? Not the podium. At that altar, he just looked like he was just about to throw up. And I would not be surprised that at the reunion something is going to happen with them, because I don't see it being a fit. Moving on to Mallory and Sal. So Mallory and Sal is very interesting because, you know, Mallory wanted something different with Sal. She didn't want to date, you know, the same type of guy. And that's why she didn't go with Jared. But when she started to get to know Sal, I guess to me it just seemed like they just weren't as compatible as, you know, she thought that they would be. I think Sal was all in, but there was too many questions there of whether or not she really wanted to be there or not. And especially when they all met up at the beach in Cabo and Mallory was having the conversation with Jared, because they were also interested in each other in the pod as well. And Mallory ended up not picking or choosing Jared. And basically they were like reminiscing about their time in the pod. And Saul didn't like that. And I don't think anybody would like that. And so that had him questioning things. And so once they made it to the altar, honestly thought that he would say yes and Mallory would say no. But it was actually Saul that said no. And it makes perfect sense because there was too many questions of whether or not she was really in it. Moving on to Deep and Shake. Okay, so this is my thing with Deep and Shake. So when Deep and Shake first saw each other in the pods, and Shake saw Deep, he was acting as if he was really physically attracted to her. Like he had just met this woman. He was kissing on her. He groped her. He grabbed her butt. Said, "Ooh, look at this thing," and he really like sexualized that moment. But as soon as they get to Cabo, it's like, I'm not physically attracted to her. I was like, since when? Like, what changed between the time that you saw her and when you all were in Mexico? Was it just the excitement of, actually seeing her for the first time in the pause that made you like, all giddy? And then once you knew that you all were going to be together like all the time, it kind of just dwindled away. Like, I don't really get how what Shake's thinking was with that. And to think that he was going to be able to be with someone and I guess the attraction just flow over time or get married and eventually he would become attracted to her. I don't know where his thinking was with that. I'm so happy when they got to the altar and Deep decided not to marry him. She said she deserves somebody who is sure about her and that she's sure about them and that she's choosing herself. And I was so happy about that for Deep because Shake did come off as a jerk in the pods and honestly sometimes while they were in the engagement, courting, dating phase. He did come off a little jerky and a little like just, I don't know. He definitely wasn't my cup of tea. And then after she said no, she walks away. He's like, it's okay. It's a party, blah, blah, blah. I got a dinner, and I got reservations at Nobu, and da, da, da. And I'm glad she said no before I could say no. And it was just, for someone who was about to marry somebody, he was just so like crass about it and just not genuine. It's just, yeah. I'm out of everybody who got to the marrying stage, I'm happy that she said no to him because he is not deserving of her at all. At all. Now we're going to move on to Jared and Iyanna. Now, Jared did have a little romance going on with Mallory in the house. And I feel as though, not in the house, I'm sorry, in the pods. Jared and Mallory did have a little romance going on in the pods. And when Jared asked Mallory hypothetically, if I were to ask you to marry me, what would you say? And she said no. Child, Jared cried. Jared cried like his puppy just died. He cried like the pain that I saw was genuine, and I really feel like he really wanted to be with her. And so when he decided to propose to Iyanna, I was just like, how do you just go from all of those emotions and then propose to the next woman? And even Iyanna was second guessing it as well, but obviously she said yes. And they were on the stage in the phases of getting married. And I just question, I really do. I just question whether or not Jared just wanted to be married. Like, it really didn't, at that point, it didn't matter who it was. He had gotten this far in the experiment, and he just wanted to see whether or not he could get married. Iyanna is super sweet. She's so beautiful. And I really hope that she wasn't Jared's second choice. I mean, it seems like that way, and it came off that way, not only to her, but I'm pretty sure to viewers as well. So, yeah, that's all I really got to say about them. I mean, they're cute together. They're both attractive people. And they did get married. She did say yes, and he did say yes. So we'll just have to see how that goes. But I wouldn't hold my breath. Last but not least, Natalie and Shane. Natalie and Shane definitely had an instant connection in the pods. Until they got into the pods one day and Shane mistook Natalie for Shayna. And then I was like, listen, like, do you want, like, what are you doing? Like, do you want to be with me? Do you want to be with Shayna? Like, what's going on? And then eventually he proposes to Natalie. And so when they first are together in Cabo, Natalie, I think she was using it as a defense mechanism, but she would always like joke around with him. Like, instead of like in the conversations in her interviews, she would be like, oh my gosh, he's so handsome, he's so hot, I can't believe it. But when they were together, he's just like, she's just, kind of plays it off like, you're so silly, oh my gosh, you get on my nerves. Kind of like when you're a kid on the playground and like you like pick on the person that you like. That's kind of what Natalie was doing. But like Shane like really wanted her to like acknowledge him, and he's definitely like words of affirmation. So he wanted to be affirmed by her, and she wasn't giving him that. And I think once once he addressed that with her and let her know, hey, listen, like I really want you to acknowledge me. Like I like you, and I love you, and I don't want you to like always play all the time. And I think that's when she kind of got comfortable with it. Out of all the couples, I really thought that they would get married at the end at the altar. But the night before the wedding, Natalie and Shane got into this really big argument, and Shane said some really nasty things to Natalie. She just made her second guess whether or not this is somebody that she wanted to be with. And once she said no and he said yes, I think that it was an ego blow to him. His feelings were genuinely hurt. He wanted to be with her, but for her, it's just like, I just need to see like where your head is, because I can't marry you with all the things that you said. And for him, he's just like, I don't even know if I want to like talk to you anymore. I don't even know if I want to even, pursue anything after this. You just told me no, and all of these things. But yeah, they didn't get married. So the only two couples that got married were Nick and Danielle and Jerry and Diana. And I was very surprised that Nick and Danielle got married. I would not be surprised if they did not make it. So now we have to wait for the reunion. I can't wait for the reunion. It's going to be interesting, to say the least. Thank you all so much for watching this video. If you're not already, please go ahead and like this video. Like. Also, make sure that you subscribe to the channel, and make sure you press the post notification bell so you know when I post videos next. Thank y'all so much for watching. Bye.